Testing, 1, 2, testing. We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Comment in the comments section. Oh, yeah, people are already in here. All right. Hi, Mom.
Good morning from the great state of Minnesota, everybody.
How's the weather? How's the weather out there, Mom?
Oh, we've had a few hot days, but we're suffering through like everybody else.
Okay. Oops. Hold on. A little technical thing here. Save changes. All right. So, well, I don't want to ramble on or prattle on, or I get that from you, but I got to do a little business up front here. Hello, everyone. Everybody's piling in the comment section here. And I just want to share, for those who don't know, my very, very first foray into doing this, right? Going on YouTube or on any real social media platform, aside from Facebook. I did that for a while. But my first foray into YouTube, having a YouTube channel, was you and I, Mom, Miracle Mom and Michael. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that was right before the pandemic, as I recall. It's like literally right before it, like in December, I think, of 2019.
It was a long time ago already.
Yeah. And we're still here, thank God.
Right.
But we're back. I also want to mention, before we get into it, this is your time, your storytelling time, because I want to, you've got this wealth of experience, 81 years of life, of experience, of loving the Lord and watching the Lord at work. And when you started and I think it's linked in the description below, you and Phil, my brother, started the Mindful Masa podcast on Spotify and elsewhere. As I started listening to that, there's just so many stories that you have that I've never heard. Some of them I heard little pieces of, but I love it. And even if you weren't my mom, they're very interesting things that you've gone through and how you perceive them, or your takeaways and your telling of them. And so, being blunt and honest, you have surgery coming up on September 24th, and any surgery is risk, and this one in particular is a risk. And one of the things that I know is what people regret the most whenever you survey people on their deathbeds, if you will. What do they regret the most in their life? And it was not having spent more time with family, not having spent more time with family. And then on the other end, the people who lose those loved ones, that are, the elderly loved ones, what do they regret? They regret not having taken the time to talk to their parents more, their family more, and getting more stories out of them while they were alive. So these are some of the things that people regret the most. And so, that being on my mind, and we having this platform, and you having this fan base already, people that show up when you show up in Bible every morning, you're more popular than I am. Everybody loves you, Mom. And so, thank you for agreeing to do this. And I'm just grateful. Also want to point out that, you are the one who took me to see Star Wars. Here's some Star Wars paraphernalia back here. You are the one that took me to see Star Wars when I was 7 years old. And that was something that we just cleared up recently. When we talked to my dad, I was like, wait, did Dad take me to see Star Wars, or was it you? And you were like, no, it was me. I'm like, so thank you. All right. How are you?
Listen, when something very unexpected is happening,
of course,
and I want you to keep talking along with the podcast. I'll explain next week. I have a neighbor who just knocked on my door who's having an emergency.
Okay.
This is a personal emergency, and I'm very sorry.
No, it's all right.
But I have to go.
I will. I'm going to cut this short, but go, and I'll talk a little more and prep next week. Love you.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Interesting. All right. So let me tell you a little bit just for the record here, mom has surgery coming up on September 24th, and I am going to go and visit, be there a couple days before, a couple days after. She's she's told me the risk of it. It's high risk. It's not, I won't go into too many details, but the older you are and the nature of this surgery, it's removing a portion of a, a part of the body that has a lot of contaminants in it, and the risk of those contaminants getting loose into the bloodstream, and that's irreversible. Blah 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 blah. Right? You guys, I don't have to go into too much detail, but mom has survived a couple of um, near death experiences, and the doctors themselves refer to it as medical miracles. One in particular, let me hash this out or break it down a little more. Actually, before I do that, Lord, whatever's going on with mom's neighbor, I thank you that she is available and able to be there for whatever this need is. I pray that you resolve it. I pray that you intervene, and that your hand be upon this scenario, and that it be resolved quickly and peacefully in Jesus' name. Amen. Mom is a spiritual warrior, and she recognizes spiritual warfare. She's been praying for me my whole life, obviously, and um, there are factors even surrounding doing Miracle Mom and Michael, that, you know maybe one of the episodes will go into more detail, but just even doing this right now, um, it's not a coincidence that her neighbor barges in or knocks on the door at this time, right? It's like, okay, when you're over the target, right, that you see things happen. All right, so let me tell you about, for those of you just tuning in, mom had to jump away. I don't know if she'll be back before the time is up, but I'm going to tell some stories about mom, and if she can't come back before the time is up, we'll do it again on Wednesday. It was in, I think it was in 2019. Yeah, actually 2019. Um, that's why we started the. That's why I started the podcast, the first Miracle Mom and Michael, then, because this is when it happened. And maybe it happened right before December, but it was sometime in 2019. Mom has something going on. She doesn't know what's going on, and my sister Vanessa, who lives with her, thank God, was able to get her to the hospital. And the doctor comes out. Yes, Carrie, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one. The so the doctor comes in saying we have to. And when mom told me this story the first time, she described the doctor and his frame of mind in telling her this news. Because here's mom's in the middle of suffering something that she doesn't fully know what's going on. She's in a bed in a hospital. The doctor has looked, did whatever test, and comes in, and he's kind of, I don't know if nervous, is probably nervous and other things, nervous and kind of amped up, telling her, notify your next of kin. This is what's going on. You've had a pulmonary emboli. So a pulmonary embolism is essentially a blood clot in the lung, right? And your heart near the lung, burst, or there's a weakness in the wall of the artery or something. I don't know the specifics, but it bursts, and the blood clot fills one of the brachial tubes of the lung. That's a pulmonary embolism. But your lungs are full of brachial tubes, hundreds of them, thousands of them. So a single one of those, not fatal, never fatal. It's kind of a minor thing. But emboli, being the plural of embolism, mom had a pulmonary emboli, which is multiple, and in her case, it's like the heart exploding into the lungs, and both sides of her lungs filled with blood, 70 blood clots. So the heart exploding into the lungs, and that's always fatal. right? So an embolism, nothing. Everybody survives those. One brachia full, you don't even necessarily need to get surgery for that. It's just okay, whatever. Emboli, multiple, and in her case, 70, is always at that point was always fatal. Always. And that's the doctor coming in had that in his mind. But as it would just so happen, a new invention, still in test phase, had been approved for that particular hospital. And only it was either 7 or 9 hospitals. Mom gave me the numbers. Only 7 or 9 hospitals around the nation, around the world, technically, but around the nation, only 7, let's say 9. Only 9 hospitals around the nation had been approved for this device, this new invention, this piece of technology, a technology that's designed to just go in such cases and pull out blood clots quickly. Quit, just start pulling them out. And that hospital had just been approved for that experimental device prototype 2 months prior to this event, right? So all of these factors, what mom experienced, she happened to be within a 6-mile drive or 6 minutes, whatever, to one of the very few hospitals. You know how many hospitals there are in the nation? Thousands of them, and only 9 of them had been approved 2 months prior. Right? Those are the factors that demonstrate this is a miracle. Mom became a part of a research study by having a pulmonary emboli, being rushed to the hospital, still alive, and having a doctor there that knows that they have the thing that could save this woman, a medical miracle. So, but ahead of time, not knowing the outcome, he comes into the hospital, please notify your next of kin. And I remember that day. I remember being notified mom's going into the hospital. And I remember talking to her. I think I spoke to her right beforehand. Um, and then after the surgery, when she comes to, the doctor and a few of the nurses and maybe a couple of doctors come in, and it's like it's an event for them. It's an event. Like they have had an opportunity to test out this thing in an emergency situation to save a life. That's the point of the invention. The point of the invention. Let me see if the point of the invention is to save lives. Obviously, a medical device. That's the whole point. And so, success story. And he brings in this tray. Uh, Mom sent me the pictures. A tray where they, the doctors are in there going at it. Pull this blood clot out. Stick it aside. Pull this blood clot, and so this tray arrayed with all these blood clots. They look like little like slugs, like dark, like leeches or slugs, because it's blood congealed from within the brachia. So it's taken the shape. They've taken the shape of each branch of the brachia or whatever. So he's pulling them out and laying them. And there's one on there that's like it's 9 inches long, this big, fat, long slug. And he said to her, he said, that's the one that I thought was going to kill you. That's the one I didn't think I was going to be able to get and kill you. So, documented miracle, right? Not just that she survived, but all those other factors. When you, do I have the book here? I have a book called Experience Miracles, or How to Experience Miracles. And it's not a oh, let's pray and blah blah blah. It's an academic rigorous analysis of what miracles are, how they happen, when they happen, and how you can pray and see miracles happen. And the criterion are, there's these different factors for it to really qualify as a miracle. And in mom's case, obviously, the timing of it, the location of it, the invention, etc., lining up. And so the fact that that happened, so I started calling her Miracle Mom in that moment. And every moment I have with her is a miracle. So, with that said, in this first episode of The Return of Miracle Mom and Michael, it's mostly just Michael. And so that should be a cliffhanger for the next episode. We'll see you guys tomorrow. You can join us on Bible Every Morning tomorrow. I'm just going to cut this off here and wait for mom to report back in. All right. Enough of me rambling. But an interesting episode. Love you guys. Mom loves you. And thank you for loving her and praying for her. Keep praying for her. I'm dying to find out what's going on. If you want to find out, tune in tomorrow on Bible Every Morning. Love y'all. See you then.